Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is I, Seto Summon Fanatic, coming at you from my own personal YouTube page this time with an update for my Agumon deck profile, otherwise known as Greymon Rush, because there's more of an emphasis on the Greymons than the Bond of Bravery, considering there's only two. Main theory behind this is rush with the Greymon for every security you can and either finish them with the Burning Greymons or the Agumon Bond of Braveries. In addition, the starter deck Greymon can be used under the SkullGreymon or the Burning Greymons because they can digivolve from any level 4 for 1, thus giving you multiple double checkers. And the securities in this format are still relatively weak, but they're getting a little bit stronger because of more of an emphasis on either the Ancients or Susanamon. So you tread carefully with that, but otherwise this is a very functional deck and it can really squeak by some games and take a few surprise wins. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my card choices. So for the Digi-Egg deck, we have, of course, the 4 Demi-Miramon and the 1 Capurimon, as you can see. Demi-Miramon, it's the most obvious. You're not going to be attacking the opponent's Digimon because you don't have Piercing, and you want the extra DP when checking security attacks. 8K swinging for 2 checks is nuts. You'd be surprised how often it actually lives. SkullGreymon, again, if you have the Greymon under it with either of the boosting Agumons, you're swinging for 11K on 2 checks. That's basically most megas. So, yeah, that's the main theory behind it. So, the 4 Demi-Miramon is you're usually never going to be attacking your opponent's Digimon. Capurimon, we have a whopping 9 Tamers down here. So, yeah, you're going to have that DP boost quite often. Into our Agumons, we've of course got Oops All Agumons again. We prioritized 4 of the starter deck 7 Agumon, because same thing as Demi-Miramon. You're not going to be attacking their Digimon 9 out of 10. You're going to be going for their security. So you're swinging directly. So it's the easiest plus 2k boost that works on literally everything in the deck. Turning either SkullGreymon into an 11k with the egg, Bond of Bravery into a 16. And it also works with the Burning Greymon because he doesn't work with our next card because he's not a Greymon. He's supposed to be called Vreetramon. Why they didn't change the name, I don't know. Agumon, Promo 9, plus 2,000 to any Greymon. Your main attackers are the Promo 10 Greymon and the EX1 SkullGreymon. So he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect in this deck. We follow that up with 3 EX1 Agumons because sometimes you don't want to hard play them and they're just... EX1 Agumon is just really good. You have 15 Agumons, and you have a whopping 9 Tamers in this deck. So, yeah, if you miss something, you're just extremely, extremely unlucky. And unfortunately, that's just how card games work. 2 regular BT1 Agumons, mostly for the hard play off of SkullGreymon, so you can search your, again, 9 Tamers in this deck, and 2 copies of Promo 1 Agumon. Going into our level 4s, we've got 4 Promo 10 Greymon. Again, swinging with 8k on 2 checks is nuts. 4 Geo Greymon, because that thing popping up in security is always amazing. 3 Burning Greymon for our hybrids. Again, we're running 3 instead of just 2 like a lot of builds can run because this is a rush deck, and it works on top of the starter deck Greymon, basically turning it into a pseudo SkullGreymon or Greymon. Or you just use it to finish it off, Digivolving it on top of Tai or Marcus for 2. It's good. And the starter deck Greymon, because, well, it started at Greymon. I really shouldn't have to explain it. SkullGreymon is basically the heart and soul of the deck. If you're able to build up into him, oh, it's so nice. Building up into him, especially on top of starter deck 1 Greymon, where you'll literally be checking 3 cards on 11. That's mega level powers right there. And then 2 copies of the Agumon Expert. The Agumon Bond of Bravery. I mentioned the Agumon Expert because it was originally a 1-1 split between the Agumon Bond of Bravery and the Agumon Expert. And I basically just switched it up to 2 Bond of Bravery because it's like, you know what? Because half the time I'm using the Agumon Expert to get back the Bond of Bravery anyway. So if one of them's going to pop up in my security, I'd rather it be Bond of Bravery instead of Agumon Expert. So yeah, that wraps it up for the Digimon. For the Tamers, we've got, of course, 4 Taikamiya. What else can I say about this guy except he's nuts. He's literally the best tamer in your deck. Whenever you whiff him or whenever you discard him with analog, it feels awful. Free +1 memory and +1 draw whenever you push a Greymon out. Or Agumon. So it literally works with everything except if you have to Digivolve the hybrid in the raising area to draw extra cards. It's nuts. It's great. 3 Marcus Daemon. The thing is called Greymon Rush. I toyed around with the ratios, and these... The other thing I should mention is I've been toying around with the ratios and the theory for the last couple of weeks, and these are basically the ratios that I think are the best from my current testing at locals. 2 Analog Youth. I've toyed around between 2 Analog and 3 Marcus, or 2 Marcus and 3 Analog. I figured the Marcus might be overall better, more consistent. And the Analog, it's really only useful for the SkullGreymon because it really doesn't trigger with anything else. Moving on to the option cards, we've got 2 copies of Red Memory Boost because consistency is key. 2 Atomic Blasters because Atomic Blaster is just a amazing option card against Swarm boards. 2 Trident Revolvers, because we've got the Marcuses here, and playing a free tamer and killing a 6k body can just come up, and 2 copies of Gaia Force. I know a lot of people are cutting this card. In this kind of deck, I think it's still really, really good. They swing with an Ancient. You have multiple checks? Okay, you're dead on the first check. Bye-bye. Or kill a Digimon that hasn't come in yet. Agumon plays control option cards up the wazoo. What I will show you guys as well is what I would potentially run for a side deck if sideboards ever become a thing in Digimon. So the first thing I'm going to mention in the sideboard is 2 copies of BT1 Secret Rare Metal Greymon. Just because he's a big boy that can get a lot of checks, he can essentially become a pseudo SkullGreymon. Not much else that can be said. I just really love this card, and I couldn't think of anything better that I could put in. Yeah, I could put in the Gaussmon, or the level 3 rookie that stops reduction costs, but I'm sorry, it loses the point of being Greymon Rush or Agu-BoB at that point. 2 copies of Avenge Kidmon. I did try these out in the main deck today at locals, but I just never played them. I didn't fight any 3 Musketeer decks or any decks that just trashed a lot of option cards. But in theory, he should be a really good hard play level 6. For your security control matchup, if side decks ever become a thing, you of course need 2 copies of A Delicate Plan. It's a delicate plan. Security control just hates this card. You play this on whatever checker you want to check multiple checks and profit. We also have 2 copies of Gigastorm, because sometimes Gigastorm is actually better than certain other cards. When testing it, it's only good in certain matchups, though. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. My option card lineup was 2 Blaster, 2 Gigastorm, and 2 Gaia Force. When I wound up using the Gigastorm against Lilith Loop, I wished it was Atomic Blaster instead. Speaking of which, we have the 3rd copy of Atomic Blaster, because again, it's better in some matchups, and the 3rd copy of Gaia Force, because again, in certain matchups, this popping up in your security or being in your hand, sometimes you just got to get rid of a big body on board, and that's pretty much it. So guys, that's the update for Agu-BoB Greymon Rush style. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Let me know what other types of videos you'd like to see from me. Don't forget to check out Team Forbidden's YouTube page, where we post a whole bunch of other Digimon deck profiles as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! If you guys would like to see more deck profiles from me like this, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Thanks. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later.